We hadn't seen an experimental film in our entire lives until we took one class with Roger Beebe at the University of Florida. We started watching actual avant-garde, experimental, artsy films, and it basically took about a year, probably like a semester, to accept it as a form of art. It was about a year to accept it, a year to like it, and a year to basically fall in love with it, until we realized that we're going to be the poorest people on the planet trying to see experimental film succeed in this world. It's funny when you say experimental film to somebody, because they might not know what it is or where it's at. They think it's really strange, but it's all over the world.
So you guys went from 300 to 57. Now, what are the type of, I know you said you have a twin method of narrowing it down, but I mean, what type of qualities does a film have to take to, be in meet your criteria?
So I guess the biggest part about it is this thing called content, essentially, is how much does this film need to be shown? How much do we need to sit an audience down and have them experience this? And that's a big part of this grade system, 0 through 35. And then there's a general we call, it's how much do we actually like the film as human beings, as ourselves? How much to me, that's the most subjective thing.
So yeah, there's even the other part of the grading system would be, just straight difficulty. Because we actually because we use 16 millimeter film when we shoot on a Bolex, and it's difficult. You have to load the film. It's not just, busting out an iPhone and waving around a camera. So you basically, honestly, we're actually a little partial to actual film, like 16 millimeter and 35 and Super 8, just for that actual purpose.
I was here last year for the festival, and I live in New York now. Haverhill's lovely. I'm glad to be here again. It has, the buildings are nice. I haven't really gone outside of the downtown area, but it's a pleasure to be here again. I had made movies in high school, but I got into experimental film when I was in college. So I guess I've been making them for 7 years. I actually got into it because I saw an experimental film in high school and was really, it was called Tribulation 99. It's by Craig Baldwin, and he visited my hometown and presented it, and I think that's what really got me into experimental film, seeing him talk about it and sort of reveal that there was this whole sort of sub-world beneath the kind of Hollywood filmmaking that I was familiar with. My film is called GoldenEye. It's shown at a couple of different festivals. It was all digital video. I re-edited it from other movies. So I just ripped a bunch of James Bond movies. I ripped the DVDs and then converted them into editable files. I guess half is more personal than other film festivals I've been to. The directors, Brandon and Jeremy, they make a lot of effort to interact with the filmmakers and encourage the filmmakers to interact with each other.
Sin rencillas ni bullicios, sin rencores, sin odios, sin desear venganzas. Que son gentes paupérrimas, que menos poseen ni quieren poseer de bienes temporales, y por esto no soberbias, no ambiciosas.
So this is my first time in Haverhill, Massachusetts. I'm surprised any time I get accepted into anything, so it's really amazing to be given the opportunity to exhibit my work in front of an audience. All filmmaking to some degree is experimental, but I think it's mostly associated with non-narrative and avant-garde type work. In Search of Lost Time. I haven't been to too many festivals. My film premiered in Chicago about a year ago, and I went to London a few months ago. This one is, I like the intimacy of this festival. It's like very communal, it's very easy to talk to people. 'Cause it is a little bit smaller, where some of the other ones I went to were a little bit larger, so it's difficult to see all the films and meet all the filmmakers.
I'm from Milwaukee. It certainly feels really wonderful to be selected. The world of film festivaling is made challenging by the fact that one gets rejected from a lot of festivals, which is just par for the course. The art world is, a difficult thing to access, so it feels really special to be involved in any film festival. Even more special to be involved in a film festival that's as young as this one, curated by two very, very nice people in a town that I've never been to. So my film is called, it's a really convoluted, or it's a very long word, it's called deterritorialization. Very long word for a very short film. For me, it's just anything that expands on the ordinary notions of what cinema is or can be, trying to treat cinema as an art that is capable of being exploratory and challenging the status quo and doing things that are more interesting than what typically happens in the relatively formulaic world of narrative Hollywood cinema. I came from Milwaukee. I have family in the East Coast, so I sort of took advantage of the opportunity to be out here. I told myself a year ago when they accepted my film that if I had an opportunity to come once more, or if show my work again, I would take that opportunity and come see what Brendan and Jeremy were up to at HEF, because it seemed like such a great festival.
I'm always honored and humbled simultaneously to be selected from such a large pool of filmmakers. The name of my film that's showing at the Haverhill Experimental Film Fest is Sunrise Fires. It was shot in 2013, and it is a documentary about sunrise fires that occurred on Long Island in New York in 1995 as well as in 2000. It's kind of a look at the past as well as the present with regard to wildfires, and kind of an observational documentary, kind of searching for mystical phenomena within those locations. I am a curator as well, so I know how difficult it is to not only watch that much material, but then to select the few that will be shown. I always marvel at programmers, curators, for their ability to kind of construct these thematic programs. Brendan and Jeremy Smith, the directors, have done a really wonderful job of streaming these pieces together with these really beautiful thematic kind of arcs to them. So I encourage people to look into their programming.
Cast the meaning. Cast the screen. Pen the meaning. Disembodied body battle. Disembodied body battle. Sensory touch important. Sensory touch connect. Sensory touch affect.
I'm very glad to see HEF running for the second year, and actually this year it's much bigger and better than it was last year. So to see the growth is very exciting. I'm extremely proud of my sons for doing this. First of all, for making the decision to pursue their passion, to do experimental film, which is kind of almost equivalent to being a poet in today's world. So it's something you have to do out of passion and desire and love. And what they've done here is very similar. They've put together a slate of films that show a whole range of technical achievement and variety of content. And that's why it's so important to have something like this in our community, you know, to have Haverhill hosting this. To be the only place in all of New England that's doing something like this is quite significant.